All right, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us here at SpeedGaming for another wonderful episode of our Metroid Prime 2 Echoes Mentor and Mentee Tournament. My name is Mary, and I'll be guiding you through this wonderful race of mentees. Before we get started, I'd like to give a huge shout out to the Zelda 1 community for their fantastic four-player race show-off. It's always great seeing these older games get some love. Yeah, no worries at all. SpeedGaming's schedule's been packed lately. A lot of communities coming together to share their fantastic talent and amazing games. So no need to say anything. The Zelda community, thank you so much for that fantastic race. But now it's time to switch into something a little bit newer. Instead of a 2D, we're going with a 3D shoot 'em up with some fantastic Metroid Prime 2 echoes. So with that being said, we've got our Mentee versus Mentor tournament. Now, what exactly is that? Well, for those of you who might be unfamiliar, Mentor and Mentees, we've got a large community of old players, new players, some with specialized tricks and knowledge, some with some logic chains for Randomizer. Hey, yes, Jeff, I know it's a little bit newer, but hey, Zelda 1 came out a little bit longer ago, so give me a break. Great, this came out in 2002, so over 20 years ago. But newer members of the community get together with senior members. Senior members teach them some various tricks, logic chains, practice their skill set in a one-on-one match, and it all cultivates here on the showcase. Today on the docket, we've got the wonderful RicoV53 going against Ralen Tankir. As far as our mentors go, we've got one of the most senior members of the community, Baja Blood, and someone who cannot stop generating cursed seeds, the one and only JB. Now, who do we have generating today? Well, we've got Nye the Bath as our room host, and the countdown has started. As far as runs agreements go, we'll be running on the new patcher with multiplayer pickups added. As far as multiplayer pickups go, we are looking at double damage, unlimited beam ammo, and unlimited missiles. Any one of those three are fantastic to have in their own right. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. As far as starting, we'll be starting over in the Great Temple main energy controller at Umos. Everyone loves Umos. And we'll also be starting with the Violet Translator. This gets us early Temple Grounds and the Great Temple hint, as well as immediate access into Aegon Wastes. For new patcher, there is a little bit of a difference between the new and old Randomizer patchers. New patcher, we are hard locked from going into GFMC compound early. There's a room called Trooper Security Station over in Temple Grounds. There are 2 layers to that room, Layer 1 and Layer 2. Layer 1, you can walk in, scan the gate open, and keep walking into compound. Layer 2 has the gate in a locked position where you need either screw attack or power bombs to access. New patcher puts Trooper Security Station in Layer 2, meaning we will be unable to access compound until we find either screw attack or power bombs. Or if we get really lucky, Emerald Translator with Dark Visor and Seekers if we want to go backwards. But that would not be wise. Either way, let's go and start off with Umos with a red key. That's not good to have. Well, it is good, but what red key is it? What temple boss do we find here? Oh, it's an Inghive key. That's okay. We can skip those Inghive keys. They're not required. And our first hint, missile launcher in portal access A. That's fantastic. We could get that right now if we wanted. Granted, we do want missiles to get through Mining Plaza, although there are some fancy slope jumps we can perform to bypass that. But with missiles sort of being required to get through Mining Plaza, that tells us space jump is fairly early, or the beginner slope jumps are what the logic chain's going for. We're about to find out as we head into our first little mini boss, the Dark Alpha Splinter. Oh, so with the Dark Alpha Splinter, usually he gives us the energy transfer module. Now, as far as the ETM goes, game-wise, it is the most useless item ever. It does absolutely nothing. Story-wise, though, it has a great story behind it. It allows us to actually get the planetary energy and transfer it from energy controller to the dark energy controllers. That is its only purpose. It has no physical use. It is just for story progression. But everyone say hi to Albert, our friend, the Alpha Splinter. We all love Albert. He's just sitting here guarding the temple sanctuary, not causing any harm. And then, unfortunately, the Ing have to go and possess him, and, well, now we got to put Albert down, sadly. So right away, runners are going to really want to find missiles. We know where missile launcher is, which is great. It's over in Aegon. A space jump would be fantastic to have. Bombs or power bombs, either one would be great. Gets us some early checks here in Temple Grounds. Dark Beam would be nice for early. That gets us a little further into labs, safer. Well, let's find out what Albert has. And we have a missile expansion. Okay, that's amazing. So with the missile expansion, that gives us the ability to fire missiles. Now, the game will not check that for logic. The game has Randomizer has a set progression of what it considers to be in logic. And unfortunately, expansions are not part of that logic chain, so the game is not thinking we have missiles for our next required item. But we're going to use them anyway, because who cares about logic, right? We're here to have fun, not follow what the game wants. And sometimes that could lead to various headaches. That's all the fun of Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. Finding and causing more headaches and realizing that you went the wrong way after searching for half an hour. But before we get into that, how about we see what's here on Temple Assembly Site? It appears to be a light ammo expansion. We're not going to get that immediately, as we don't have a use for it right now. But missiles gets a storage cavern, which has a cheeseburger. And this cheeseburger better be hot, as it gets us power bomb expansion. Now, we could go for a power bomb check right on the left of this room over into Dynamo Chamber. Although it would not be any progression. It's an expansion, not the main launcher. And we could check Hive Chamber B, but that would not be wise. I wouldn't recommend it. As Hive Chamber has two items, Hive Chamber A and Hive Chamber B. We don't want to do it until we can access both items. But first, let's see what a Cursed Lake... Oh, a Cursed Lake has a key. That's not good. Let's hope that's a Sky Temple key, so runners have to come back here anyway. Or it could be useless. It could be an Ing Hive key. We don't know yet. All we know is it's a key, and we're probably going to need it. And another violet hint. Transport Aegon tells us Chica has light ammo. All right, Chica is dead. Now, yep, there's the space jump boots that we were thinking about earlier. This gets us through Mining Plaza a lot easier. And as such, that puts our missile launcher into progression. So missiles will be absolutely amazing to have. Even though we do have the expansion, again, the game's not checking for expansions. It's checking to see if we have the main item. And due to that space jump, that puts the main item into play. And can we take a peek at Mining Plaza? The glass is a little thin. Ooh, it's an energy tank. All right, Mining Plaza, we do not need. Although it's sad, as we will never get that E-tank in the entirety of this race. So wave goodbye to that E-tank, everyone. You're not going to see it again. But we got some power bombs. We're going to use that to blow open this transport center here to get a missile expansion. That's pretty good, as now we have 10 missiles. The game will now give us what we call priority drops. With Echoes, or I'm going to use Prime as comparison real quick. Prime tends to give you a randomized drop system, where Echoes is more based on what you don't have. So, for example, now that we have 10 missiles, if we're low on missiles, the game is more likely to give us a missile drop. If we're low on power bombs, we're more likely to get a power bomb expansion drop. Same goes with ammunition and health. And we can use that to our advantage sometimes by blowing open storage boxes and enemies to get just what we need to progress into the next section of the race. But due to us having missiles, we know for a fact missile launcher is in logic and portal terminal and portal access A, but we're not going to get that right away, as we don't need to go back and get launcher. We can keep firing missiles as is, so it looks like Ralen's going right into Bomb Guardian. Meanwhile, Rico's taken a little bit of a time detour here to open up the gate into Central Mining Station. That'll be great for when if we eventually need to do backwards labs, we can just simply walk right out. Although backwards labs we're probably not going to see unless we have Light Beam here on Bomb Guardian. Now, Bomb Guardian, you saw the fight, and now the fight's over. Hardest fight ever. Bomb Guardian. Bomb Guardian has screw attack. Okay, we are... we can break the game wide open due to screw attack. Screw attack lets us perform a number of out-of-bounds tricks, some standable tricks, a lot of collision manipulation. There's a lot we can do with it. But right now, it looks like Ralen's going to take a detour back. We do not have main bombs, so we cannot go to the Jump Guardian loop. Because of that, we do have to go back to Temple Grounds. We are done here in Aegon Wastes. Now, we could go to Central Mining Station and get that item, although that would be a one-off. And we could get Command Center's item, although we don't really have a way out. So that would not be wise at all. So we're going to leave Central Mining Station alone for now. We're going to head right back to Temple Grounds, go for the Hive Chamber loop. Hive Chamber loop, we've got Hive Chamber A and Hive Chamber B. I mentioned earlier how we didn't want to do Hive Chamber B. This is why, as we needed to defeat Bomb Guardian for Hive Chamber A's item to spawn. And it looks like, we got a route divergence here. Rico's deciding to go for Central Mining Station. Now, this is risky, but if it's Dark Beam or bombs, it will pay off tremendously for Rico. So we'll see which route is the better option here. But while we have a little bit of downtime, how's everyone doing today in chat? Is everyone having a great weekend? I'm having a good weekend. We're here on a beautiful Sunday evening, or morning, or late at night, depending on what time zone you are. But we got some beautiful weather here in Aether. Sitting back, relaxing for a fantastic tournament. We're coming right off that Zelda 1 race, right into a Metroid Prime 2 Echoes race. So I'd say it's a pretty fantastic evening so far. Alright, now we're about to find out if DMT was the right option. Ralen's going to jump down to Hive Chamber A. We're going to move about 2 feet, and this boss is going to come to life. There are multiple ways to quick kill Dark Missile Trooper, and thankfully we have power bombs. We can drop a power bomb, this fight instantly ends, and it just gave us a missile expansion. Alright. Wonderful. We did all this for a missile expansion, so that was a wonderful time. Oh, and it looks like Rico's going right for Command Center. Interesting play. Now, we could technically do labs. We don't have bombs, but we do have Space Jump. And the good thing is there's a save station right before sand processing. We can use that save station as a pivot point for if we don't find Dark Beam or Spider Ball or Light Beam. Never mind, there's Light Beam as soon as I mentioned it off of Ralen's side. Although that's in Hive Chamber B. Rico doesn't have that. Well, Light Beam's going to be pretty good. Although Light Beam does not help us currently. Actually, yes, it does help us currently. We have Power Bomb and Screw Attack. We could get Sand Processing out of Sand Canyon. Sand Canyon's out of logic, but we can get that check. And you never know, early game checks sometimes have amazing things hidden behind them. And unfortunately, due to Rico triggering the pirate fight, there is a little block obstructing us from getting this item. But we do get information that Battleground has a HUD system. That's important information. That could be a translator, or that could be Echo Visor. Now, it can't be Dark Visor, as Dark Visor is needed to get that in cache. On the extremely rare off chance that Dark Visor deleted itself and is locked on Battleground, although that is extremely rare due to how much Dark Visor is used in this game. Well, Ralen's blowing open Dynamo Chamber. Oh, we got a missile expansion. And remember at the start of this race, so I mentioned we couldn't get into GFMC compound? Well, now that we have a power bomb expansion, we can do that. But it looks like Rico's done over in labs. We really don't want to progress further in labs as we can't. And unlimited beam ammo on communications center. That's fantastic. One of the 3 multiplayer items that we had shuffled in. That means we can fire light beam, dark beam, and annihilator as much as we want, and there are no repercussions. Ooh, Reliquary has a missile related. That's good to know, as that means we never have to do Reliquary. The only missile items that we need are Seekers and Supers. Seeker missiles are needed to get into Reliquary, so logically the game cannot place them there, unless they're deleted, which are usually never. And Super missiles are technically classified as a charge combo. So because of that, Reliquary is a dead check. Alright, that's good to know. And now we have the ability to access GFMC compound. What's hiding here today, Ralen? Morph ball bombs on compound. Oh, that's gonna pay off. That's gonna pay off for Ralen. Bombs are one of the most vital items to have in all of Echoes. Alright, now due to bombs, we have the ability to go almost everywhere in Aegon Wastes. That gets us into labs, that gets us into Dark Aegon early for Jump Guardian. We've got amazing things we can do. Unfortunately, Rico's got a little bit of Rico's a few minutes behind. While Rico did get the information for Battlegrounds Inc. cache and what Command Center has, unfortunately, due to bombs being on Compound, Rico's going to have to take a detour all the way to Compound and then go all the way back to Aegon entrance. So Ralen's slightly ahead, but we just started this race. You know, we've got an hour and a half to 2 hours worth of content ahead of us. All right, so now we're over checking Wind Chamber Gateway and Grand Wind Chamber, these 2 rooms here on Ralen's side. Appears to both be expansions. We're not going to go out of our way to get those. Yeah, it's just going to be too much of a time loss. But let's see, what can we do now? Well, Rico's just about to get Light Beam. All right, so both runners have Light Beam. They're about to get bombs, Power Bomb expansion. So Power Bomb logic isn't... Oh, that's an important... No, but we have Screw Attack. Screw Attack would make bombs accessible. Oh, that's pretty horrible when you think about it. You need Screw Attack to logically get your Morph Ball bombs. Well, thank you, game. That's not a nice chain. Alright, so let's see. Where do we really want to go? Well, now that we have bombs, we really want to get back to Aegon Waste. We have almost the entirety of Aegon open to us. And both runners really want to try to find Dark Beam to make labs a lot easier. And get Storage Bravo and Storage Delta while we're over there. Or in this case, Storage B and Storage D, but sometimes saying the letter, it gets a little confusing. And before anyone asks, I will point out real quick that Ralen's audio is currently unusable. That is why there is currently nothing being played on the restream. His audio is not suitable due to some technical problems, so I apologize. And Rico's feed has just crashed. Well, we'll get that restream up in just a few seconds. There it goes. Alright, so Ralen's decided to take a save warp out of Transport A into Main Energy. Unfortunately, due to the lack of Emerald Translator, we couldn't lower the gate. And we can't go backwards due to the lack of Dark Visor Seekers. Alright, so with that being said, we're going to go and get Transport B's item here, which is a Power Bomb expansion. Always good to have more ammunition. Ralen's showing off one of the many ways to get this item. He's showing off the slope jump method. And as far as slope jumps go, if you jump at any angle or a slope, if you jump at it, the game will give you a boost of momentum to get up that. You're going up an incline. If you jump that incline, you get extra speed and momentum. We use that to get this item a little bit earlier than expected. And it's a lot faster than going through the bomb track on the opposite side. All right, Rico's got their unlimited beam ammo. Congratulations, you can fire a light beam at will. As for some reason, Echo's decided to implement an ammunition system for its beams. That's what that little 250 bar you see on the right side of the runner's race screens. That tells us how much ammunition we have for each beam. But thanks to us having unlimited, that number will never decrease, and we can fire it as much as we want, just like in Prime. Alright, and Rico's... Oh, Rico does not have... Yes, he does. Rico does have Screw Attack. He went towards Bomb Guardian. That's how we did HCA. Alright, so that goes into Compound, while Ralen goes right back into Aegon Wastes. Rico, unfortunately, is still a few minutes behind, but that's okay, because we still got a long race ahead of us, folks. And I will say this, as we have a little bit of downtime, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, inquiries, anything you'd like to ask or know more about, please post it below in chat. There's plenty of people here, including myself, who are more than willing to help you out. And I do want to mention, we also have 2 other races going simultaneously. We have 3 happening at the same time. We have 1 race on SpeedGaming 2, and we also have 1 race on SpeedGaming 4. So whatever, if you want more Echoes, we got 3 channels to pick from. But let's go and get back to the crux of this race. All right, so Ralen's going right into labs. That's a great play now that we have bombs. Bombs lets us get into labs. Although personally, I probably would have gone for I would say do Jump Guardian first. Although we don't have Dark Beams, so we can't get in Cache 4. So it might be good to wait on going into... Might be willing to wait on in Cache 4 and Dark Aegon until we find Dark Beam. If we don't find Dark Beam here in the lab section, then we're just going to probably go for it anyway to get Jump Guardian out of the way. But it's a good idea going for Aegon Energy Controller. We do not want to leave any rooms left behind, as 1 room could be the major item you're looking for. So Aegon Energy Controller, we're going to say hello to everybody's favorite friend. It's not O'Lear, it's Aisha. We're going to say hello to Aisha, the last guardian of the Aegon Temple. And it appears that's just an Inghive key. Well, that's not something you want to see. That gets us 2 Quadraxis keys. Let's just hope Quadraxis doesn't have anything important like it did last time, where all 3 temple bosses were logically required. Thank you, Reed, for that one. But Reed didn't generate today's race. He generated 1 over on SpeedGaming 4, I believe. So if you want to see your cursed Reed seed, head over there. But don't worry, we got plenty of cursed headaches to come. Hopefully. You never know, we could have a required Airy. But before we do any of that, we gotta get through Aegon Wastes first, which on Sand Canyon has a Power Bomb expansion. So hey, look at that, you use a Power Bomb to get a Power Bomb. You've effectively lost nothing. Which is good. We don't want to lose anything. And due to bombs, that gets us right into Ventilation Area A. And Power Bombs also gets us into Spider's Treasure. So we get 3 items we can check here. We can get 2 of them, but 1 of them we do not have the ability to get, which would be Culling Chamber. We don't have Spider Ball for it. And that's just some dark ammo. We don't have Dark Beam to really worry about it. Oh, looks like Ralen's going to exclude Spider's Treasure, and it's going for Backwards Labs. That's an interesting play. Surprised you're not checking Spider's Treasure, though. That could get some useful Sanctuary information. But funny little tidbit of information here in Main Reactor. That Dark Beam Crystal can be activated by Screw Attack, although you are never, ever supposed to have Screw Attack when you come here. Oh, we can get Culling Chamber? Oh, I'm assuming that's an out of bounds that we're doing then, Wyvern. Because we don't have... Unless we do some sort of... You just can't get back out. Well, thanks, Wyvern. That makes it real great. Oh yeah, screw attack into the opening, and how are you going to get out? Well, that's the hard part. And important information for Ralen, dark visor on storage D. Okay, well, we know where dark visor is. That is extremely useful information. The problem, we can't get that. You saw Ralen just leave it behind. Unfortunately, storage D has it where once you enter the room, the door behind you will always be dark beam. Unless you're playing with randomized doors. Since we are not playing with that setting, we need dark beam to get dark visor. And taking a safety save here, and we're gonna head right into bioenergy production. And it looks like Rico's finally completed the Great Temple and GFMC compound loop, and they're heading right back into Aegon through the main elevator. This will probably be the same play that Ralen did, following in their footsteps, heading for Aegon energy as to not exclude it, and then either A, going for Jump Guardian loop, or B, going for labs. Or C, they could be going for storage for Spider's Treasure. So there's 3 different routes Rico can take here. All 3 of them have their own benefits and downside to them. I would definitely leave Jump Guardian loop for last, knowing that you have lab access. And you really want to find Dark Beam as to not isolate Incash 4, as it's been a common trope with these races that if you leave Incash 4 alone, it's going to be the one major you're missing, and you're going to eventually leave it behind for a few hours before eventually realizing, oh wait, I left that room behind. Well, I got to go back. And then the horror when you realize it's the item you've been searching for. Not like that's ever happened to me multiple times, but we're not going to go into that. Alright, so continuing on through Backwards Labs, Ralen has found absolutely nothing except for expansions and the information for Dark Visor. Dark Visor information alone is paramount. Meanwhile, on the flip side, Rico continuing through Aegon Energy Controller, this will get the information from Aisha, as well as the Inghive key that we have here. And due to the lack of Dark Beam, Ralen's going to be most likely heading for storage C. Although I would take a slight detour back into... No, we can't do main reactor as the gate's locked, and we need Dark Beam to get it through. So we can't do main reactor's item. Missile expansion here on Command Center. Alright, we're not going to get that right now. So we're probably going to head right for Central Mining Station. Use that to go into Portal Terminal and see what Jump Guardian has. Jump Guardian's one of my favorite bosses, personally. It's not a hard boss, and the tech used for the boss skip is, in my opinion, one of the best to pull off. Alright, so Ralen, great fight skip by Ralen. Just skip the trigger for the pirate fight in Central Mining Station. Now the trigger port's just a couple of feet past the door opening and a little overhang. So by jumping over that trigger, we skip the pirates from ever spawning in that room. Although if we do enter it again, then the pirates will spawn. But thankfully, we're not going to go back there for a long time. And again, now that we have bombs, we can access Portal Terminal. We can get our missile launcher and put ourselves back into the logic chain, while continuing into Dark Aegon. Now this is going to be a little risky. We have 0 E-tanks, so Dark Aether movement will be a little rough. But thanks to the fact that we have a space jump, we'll be A-okay, as long as we remember to hit the safe zones. Alright, here comes another little mini skip over on Ralen's side. We are currently in Portal Terminal. Now, normally we'd have to activate the bomb slot and blow open 3 different sand blocks to align a pair of sun lenses to activate the portal. We need to re-energize it. We're going to skip doing the last half of that. Instead of destroying all 3 sand blocks, you see Ralen aiming for the last one here on the far side of the room. If we time our screw attack right, oh, and we just missed it. Little too low. But that's okay, we got a backup strat. We can slope jump, and there we go, now it's blown up. As long as the game detects the last block to be destroyed, the internal game's flag will set to where, okay, all 3 are technically destroyed, so now we're going to activate the portal. It's not checking for all 3 blocks, it just wants to know if the last block is defeated, this portal can now be scanned. Which is a fun little time save. Oh, a 0 E-Tank death on Jump Guardian? I'm so sorry, Katmir. That is a painful death to have. Alright, so let's go ahead and go towards Jump Guardian, but we're going to check Crossroads first. We want to see what's hiding on the half track. Alright, we have... Oh, that's something shiny. That's a ball upgrade. Is that a ball upgrade or an ETM? Oh, it's hard to tell. I want to say it was a ball upgrade. And if it was, that very well... Well, that can't be Boost Ball. Boost Ball is required to get that item logically. It could be Spider Ball, though. Or it could be Cannonball. Oop, Ron's got to be careful. You don't want to trigger Jump Guardian. Although I would just walk around the left side of the room. There you go. We see the safe zone. And now you can jump up top. And we're going to head right across the room to go for the broom closet. And on the left, we see, okay, it is Cannonball on Crossroads. All right, so if we need Cannonball, we know where to find it. Some of you may be wondering, well, what's Cannonball? I've never heard of that item in Metroid. Well, technically it is, but it isn't an item. It's a little bit of both. So Cannonball is a state that's given to you when you enter a kinetic orb cannon. Once you hit the end plate at the end of your cannon's firing, the item gets removed from your inventory. Well, if you use an orb cannon out of bounds, you're able to keep the Cannonball state in your inventory. You never hit the end plate, so the game doesn't tell it to remove the item from your inventory. And Cannonball's got a few neat features to it. Number one, it gives us a boost ball. It lets us speed around at the speed of sound. Number two, it gives us immunity while we're in Morph Ball. We take no damage. And number three, it does 500,000 hit points of damage to enemies that are weak to it, which is basically an insta-kill. Speaking of insta-kills, on the right side of your screen, you see Ralen shooting light beam and missiles at a statue. Or more specifically, what's in front of the statue. We like to believe that this is just air. Well, surprisingly, this is actually Jump Guardian's hitbox. For some reason, upon first entry of Judgment Pit, Jump Guardian's hitbox will always be spawned in where the cutscene starts. You saw the cutscene, Jump Guardian started at the top of that statue, and then jumped down. Well, as long as you don't enter the safe zone in the middle of the room, that cutscene will never start. And because of that, we can damage Jump Guardian's hitbox. Oh, hello, wonderful Seeker launcher. Seekers are fantastic to have. One of the most used items. So as I was saying, as long as you never trigger the cutscene for Jump Guardian, you can jump up top to a Judgment Pit and just start shooting the heck out of the hitbox. I believe currently it takes 30 light beam ammo to get Jump Guardian down to 1 hit point. Then jump into the middle of the room, start the fight, and Jump Guardian's health will be down to 1. Fun fact, it is impossible to kill Jump Guardian with this method. the cutscene must play for Jump Guardian to actually be registered as defeated. Which is good, because if Jump Guardian was ever deleted, then we could never get the item that's on A, Jump Guardian itself, and B, GFMC Compound's ship item. So a nice little safety flag that the game has. It will not let you kill Jump Guardian without the cutscene being present. So, great thing, we found Seekers off of Jump Guardian. Those will be used later to get into Hall of Honor Dead, and to get into various checks of Torvus, as well as getting your Sky Temple key hints later on in the race. Currently, they have one purpose for us that is useful, and that is to break into Torvus Bog. There is an elevator to Torvus on the top of the half pipe. If these runners are comfortable, they could go for it, although it would not be recommended due to the fact we have no supers, no Dark Beam, and no Emerald Translator. So, what purpose would it be? Not really much. At least not currently. What's even better, though, is Ralen just located Amber Translator off of Transport Center. Alright, Amber Translator is going to be amazing. This gets us into Sand Cache for an item check, and all the Amber hints within Aegon. We have access to all except for one, and that's over in Mining Station B. But since we have Amber, let's go and check Portal Terminal hint real quick. It could be useful, or it could just be a joke hint, as there are 2 joke hints in every race. And the Dark Beam can... ew, no. The Dark Beam can be found in Warrior's Walk. That means we need to find super missiles before we can get Dark Beam. Oh no. The problem is we have a good amount open to us, and not knowing where supers are, that could be a little bit of time before Dark Beam's found. As we could go right into Torvus. Okay, Quadraxis has a missile expansion. Good to know, that means Quadraxis is half defeated. We need Quadraxis for 2 items. One for Quadraxis itself, the other one for Tumos for the light suit check. We have yet to find the light suit hint items, so we're gonna have to put that on hold. Hey, you remember how I said a minute ago that supers could be anywhere and we got a little bit open to us? Yeah, forget everything I just said. We just found supers, so that puts Dark Beam into immediate logic. And that also puts Dark Labs into logic, as we could go into Warrior's Walk from Jump Guardian. Okay. What does Ralen do here, though? Well, looks like they're going to go right for the hint here on Mining Plaza first, which tells us, ooh, a progressive student abandoned work site. That's useful to know. Thankfully, abandoned work site's a free check. We can get that immediately. And Ralen's doing the smart thing and safety saving. So yeah, now that Rico has their supers as well, following right behind the footsteps of Ralen, we're going to go right back into Dark Aegon, head straight for Warrior's Walk, get our Dark Beam, and most likely go for a Dark Labs play. As now that we have Dark Beam, that gets us in cache 3, Battlegrounds item, and also Battlegrounds in cache, although we do need to take a detour to Storage D to get Dark Visor if we want to get that HUD system. And I think that would be a smart play for Ralen. Now, Rico has yet to do labs, so they don't have the information on Dark Visor. So that's going to give Ralen a little bit of an edge. As this will get us the HUD system, and if that's Emerald Translator, that sets us up perfectly for a Torvus Bog play. Alright, so yeah, just as predicted, Ralen's going right for Dark Aegon, making their way towards Warrior's Walk and grabbing their Dark Beam immediately. Rico taking a safety save here on the save station. Well, where else would you save? Well, you could save on the ship, but would you classify Samus's ship as a save station? No, I wouldn't. I'd say it's more than a save station. It's got to have its own category. And unfortunately, due to runners having 0 E-tanks, we're going to play a little risky here. We got to be careful with our energy, especially in Warriors Walk, as we are going to roll right through a pit of Phazon. And unlike Corruption with the PED suit, Phazon actually hurts us. Or the Phazon suit from Prime. Speaking of which, both of those suits are underrated. Corruption, while probably not a fan favorite for some, I like it. It's got some good equipment. Some items you only ever see in that game. It'd be nice if they ever returned hyper missiles. Those were a fun item to mess around with. And it's a Ralen camping for a little bit of health, trying to get their health up to a safe level before doing this dive. All right, it's got plenty of health. 78's more than enough to make it there and back. Oh no! I say that and Ralen hit their head on the top of the bridge. Oh, they almost didn't get out. Oh, that was a little too risky there, Ralen. Okay, now we really want to farm for some health, as on the opposite side of that door we're looking at is a bit of an ink storm, and that will drain our health extremely fast. So we want as much health as we can before going through that storm. Yeah, no, that is nowhere near enough, Ralen. You realistically, you really want to have at least, I'd say, 50 health or more to get safely through that ink storm. Preferably a full 99. But if you're fast enough, you should be able to get there with 50, 55. But it looks like Ralen's going back towards Judgment Pit. They're going to farm off these little blade pods here on the right and left. Meanwhile, Rico's doing the same thing, farming health before going into the Phazon pit. There's Dark Beam, don't hit your head. Okay, so Rico's up to 33, Ralen's down to 11. Now, sadly, no Camera, we did not peek the item in Battleground. But on that note, we do have information due to Ralen doing backwards labs. By doing backwards labs, Ralen found Dark Visor on Storage D locked behind Dark Beam. And the central mining hint for Battleground's ink cache is a HUD system. So Ralen knows to come back here after getting Dark Visor to hopefully get that HUD system. And we really want to hope that it's an Emerald translator to set up a Torvis, or it could be an Echo. If it's an Echo Visor, that sets us up for Sanctuary. But we're about to find out what Battleground has. Oh, the good thing about this, due to us having Dark Beam, we can also go back and check in Cache 4. Smart play by Rico here. You don't want to isolate a room. Yeah, really smart play by Rico. Not... Oh, no, Ralen, no, you... Not enough health to get through. Oh, that's the first death of the race, folks. Ralen took an untimely death trying to get into Battleground due to the ink storm. The good thing is he just saved off of safe station in Judgment Pit. So great job by the mentor. Oh, look at that! We got our first E-tank, everyone. Let's see those E's in chat for a fantastic E-tank on in Cache 4. That is why you don't isolate rooms. But the good thing is, due to round safety saving, they are in prime position to keep going through Battleground into that ink storm. They're just going to want to save up their health a little bit more this time. All right, there we go. Ralen made it through safe and sound. Great work. Oh, and a bit of a route difference. Rico just deciding not to continue into Battleground. They took a save warp right back into main energy. That could hurt Rico in the long run, though. But, oh, I know what Rico's doing. Now that we have super missiles and seekers, Rico's making an immediate play for Sky Temple key hints. All right, that's a great idea. And now that we have one E-Tank, we can safely get them all. We did need one E-Tank to get STK hints. Oh, but it looks like Rico picked the red key in Battleground. Thank you, Camir. I did not notice that. But this is a very smart play. Getting STK hints and then routing around that, having the entirety of Sky Temple grounds, Inghive, Sanctuary Fortress, Dark and Light Temple grounds. This could pay off well for Rico. Where we have information that Annihilator is on Forgotten Bridge. Oop, looks like Rico's gonna go take another hint off of... Or we're in Path of Eyes. Yeah, we're in Path of Eyes, and this tells us, oh, Echo is exactly 3 rooms away from Feeding Pit access. Okay, we have confirmation on what on the battlegrounds in cache. That gets Rico the knowledge that the HUD system found in Battleground is in fact the Echo Visor. And yes, it will be a little bit rough with Rico only having one E-Tank and no suits for getting STK hints. Although it appears he's not going to go for that right away, unless he's opening up the shortcut. Yep, smart play, opening up the shortcut. That way you don't have to take Path of Eyes all the way around again. With main reactor... Oh, no! Dark Oasis has a HUD system! That's really bad. That requires Light Suit, Dark Visor, and Power Bomb Guardian to be defeated. You better hope that's not required. You better hope that's either you better hope that's Cobalt, as Emerald Translator has a lot more uses. And if it is Emerald Translator, oh, have fun. All right, so we're not going for STKs quite yet. Looks like Rico wants a little bit more health or a suit. With Poison Bog having a life support system, we know that check is absolutely useless, as that can only be an E-Tank. It can't be a suit, as we need Light Suit to logically get Poison Bog. Looks like we're going to make our first play into Torvus Bog, everyone. Oh, we've got a key here on Torvus Lagoon. What key is it? Sky Temple Key 6. All right. All right, so we're going to see a trick here, folks. This trick's known as air underwater. This is personally my favorite trick to do. So, air underwater. What are we trying to do here? Well, you see Rico's over in Torvus Lagoon. It's a room filled with a bunch of water. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the gravity boost to get that STK. We move through water very slowly and sluggishly. We're a big old hunking suit of armor in a body of water. We just sink. And grapple beam on storage C. But air underwater. What we're trying to do is we're trying to trick the game into thinking we are still on land while in a body of water. Well, what Rico was doing was trying to morph the same frame he enters a body of water. If we morph the same frame Samus enters a body of water, the game gets tricked onto what we're actually standing on. It doesn't. The game doesn't know how to fix it. So you saw we had that crystal clear look underneath water. That tells us that we successfully had the trick. By morphing the same frame, the game thinks, okay, well, we're still technically on land, but we have the properties of being in water. And because the game still thinks we're on land, we can activate a screw attack while we're underwater. And thankfully that screw attack has just enough height to reach Torvus Lagoon without needing gravity boost. All in all, it's a great beginner trick. If you're ever interested in learning echoes, I highly recommend picking up air underwater. It'll save you a lot of headaches in Torvus Bog. So, now that we have the information on where one STK is, let's take a look over at let's go ahead and take a look over at Ralen and JB on the right side. Looks like Ralen's entered Central Mining Station for the first time. Nope, second time. They're going to take a peek at what's here on Battleground. See, it's dark ammo, and continue along by skipping the fight once again. I would suspect that what Ralen's doing here, we did pick up the dark visor, but has not gone back for the echo on Battleground. So it could be that Ralen's going for Torvus Bog as well. Well, nope, we're going to take a peek over at Mineshaft real quick. That's a smart play. We have everything we need for all three items. But on the left with the team of Rico and Baja Blood, it appears Rico was trying to learn the, as chat pointed out with Camir, was trying to learn a BSJ, or a bomb space jump. Couldn't get the bomb space jump, but thankfully we have screw attack, so we can get up here onto a Great Bridge and grab double damage. All right, double damage. That's a nice item to have. Can't complain about more damage per shot. And there's the first suit on Abandoned Worksite. That'll get us to Dark Suit. And because of us having Dark Suit, we can safely go get STK hints. And it appears Rico is leaving that behind. Oh, that's why, because we really want to open the gate here for back to Torvus Lagoon. Oh, there's the other suit hint. Hall of the Honored Dead. Okay, so we know where both suits are. Dark Suit is locked on Abandoned Worksite. Light suit on Hall of Honor Dead. It doesn't appear that Mining Station B and Mineshaft have anything useful for us, so we're just going to head on out. Although that Amber Hint was extremely useful for Ralen. Sadly, though, we are locked on Hall of Honor due to Boost Ball. We need Boost Ball in order to get that suit. And I keep on saying suit as soup, because for some reason I have soup, which is a wonderful thing to have, but a suit is not soup. But how about we get the Annihilator Beam that we got hinted at off of Forgotten Bridge over back in Meeting Grounds, and then use that to get the suit and route that into Torvus Temple. Great routing choice by Rico, doing the entire loop first, and then using that to go right into Torvus Temple. That saves a little bit of backtracking. Saves about a good 30 seconds to a minute. Could Rico sequence break the cannonball? Yes, we could. We could sequence break the cannonball, and in this context, sequence break as in breaking the game's chain of logic and doing something the game is not intended for to get an item in the improper way. Why am I buying clothes at the soup store? Wyvern, I'm not allowed to say the answer to that live. I'm not allowed to say the answer to that. But I'm sure someone in chat knows and can say it for me. All right, so we got some route differences happening here on each screen. Rico's going right into Torvus Bog, diving deeper into the Torvus Temple side. Meanwhile, Ralen's completed their loop over in Aegon Wastes. They did the Mineshaft loop with MSB, and are now most likely heading right for Torvus Bog through the main entrance. Yeah, you see Light Beam is equipped. Due to us having Amber Translator, that'll follow the same footsteps as Rico. and get us right into transport C access for the light beam block into meeting grounds. And even though I'm talking so much, this is a great reminder to everyone. Please remember to stay hydrated. And sadly, Torvus Temple only had dark ammo. We do not need to worry about any ammo expansions due to us finding unlimited beam ammo early on communication area. And it looks like Ralen also has the information for a beam in Forgotten Bridge. We know for a fact that's Annihilator beam, so that'll be good information for when Ralen eventually gets into Torvus. And now we're here in Torvus Energy Controller with Avok. And it appears that Avok has a power bomb expansion. It's nice, you know, we're going through this wonderful bog. We have a nice cold cheeseburger sitting right here for us to replenish some energy. Oh, there's Ralen getting the information for Echo Visor, 3 rooms away from feeding pit access. That confirms that Echo is on. That Echo is thankfully on Battleground Ding Cache. That's what it's called. And I didn't mention this earlier, but if you look on the left side of your screen, you see that Rico has different colors than Ralen. You see the HUD's all purple with this hazy dark aether glow. And you saw a silver suit for a second. With Randomizer for Echoes, there's an option to input multiplayer suit colors. Yes, for those unaware, Echoes did have a multiplayer function to it, and in my opinion, that was the best childhood ever. I loved the Echoes multiplayer. But there's 4 different colors we can input. We have silver, green, cobalt blue, and the standard Varia orange. And as far as the HUD color, there's also a option to input your own custom colors. Although, word of advice, if you are using custom colors, please make sure it's a color you can actually see, as if it's too bright, you're not going to be able to read or see anything. I learned that mistake the hard way once. Alright, so Lily Rounds just entered Torvus Bog for the first time, sees the information for a life support system. Well, we don't necessarily need that, as that's just an E-tank. And Rico is done with Upper Torvus for now. We don't have Emerald Translator, so we can't get into Underground Tunnel. And we're not going to dive into Lower Torvus right now. It wouldn't be the smartest play due to the lack of knowledge on Gravity Boost, and we have a better option at hand. Now that we've done Upper Torvus and found the suit on Abandoned Worksite, this will play perfectly into a Sky Temple Gateway hint. So Rico right now is going for STK locations. Ralen had a first try air underwater, but the camera went above water. Oh, that was sad. Great try by Ralen getting the first attempt air underwater. But unfortunately, if the camera is still above land, air underwater will cancel itself. Oh, that was hard to watch. We might have an STK on War Ritual Grounds. It was hard to tell. Hard to tell as Rico rolled past it. But I do want to say that was possibly an STK. Alright, but thanks for us having supers and seekers. We don't have to do any out-of-bounds tomfoolery to enter the Sky Temple Gateway. And unfortunately, Ralen's having a bit of a trouble getting that frame-perfect morph. And the second I say it, he gets it. Oh, wonderful. Great job, Ralen. Alright, once again, the game is tricked into thinking we are standing on land while in a body of water. That lets us input a screw attack, and we get that STK without the need of gravity boost. Speaking of STKs, get your keyboards ready, everyone. It's time for STK locations. We have 8 to go. Our key locations are as followed. We have Hive Dynamo works. Great, we gotta do Spider Guardian. Dynamo works. Okay, we gotta do Spider Guardian twice. Vault. Oh, no one likes to do Vault. That takes a little bit too much time. Under Temple, so looks like Powerbomb Guardian might have one. Putrid Alcove. That's not bad. That's a freebie. A Cursed Lake. Yeah, we got hinted at that earlier. Hazen Cliff. That's a free one. Under Temple again. Okay, so both items on Under Temple have keys. So, ouch. All right. And Rico's just going to take the Death Warp here. You see him walking into the Phazon. This is so that we can take a death and go back to last save, which was over in Torvus. This saves us a bit of time from going through Sky Temple grounds again and going back into Torvus entrance. But for those in chat, STK hints have been posted below. Once again, we have Torvus Lagoon, Hive Dynamo and Dynamo Works, Vault, both Under Temple items, Putrid Alcove, Accursed Lake, and Hazen Cliff. Surprisingly, there are no STKs in Aegon or Dark Aegon today. So we really want to find Cobalt Translator then. And if that HUD system we got hinted at earlier on Dark Oasis, if that's Cobalt, we're going to have to take a major detour to get it. As unfortunately, there's two ways to get into Dynamo Works. Either A, we get through Workers Path, through the Cobalt Translator Gate in Sank Temple, or we go out of bounds in Sank Energy Controller and do a multi-room out of bounds. That multi-room out of bounds is extremely difficult. It's not recommended, especially in a tournament setting. But with Baja as Rico's mentor, and Rico doing so much practice over the last few weeks, it's entirely possible we might see it. But here's Putrid Alcove, blocked behind the Powerbomb wall. We're going to get this SDK. And Ralen is continuing through Temple Grounds. Not Temple Grounds, Torvus Bog. I'm sorry. We're in Torvus. Going through and defeating Torvus Temple Pirates. Oh, okay, so there's Boost Ball. Boost Ball is on Cache A. That is logically required to get Cannonball and the Light Suit on Hall of Honor dead. Yeah, the game is really pushing for us to stay here in Torvus. Now, it doesn't look like Gravity Boost will be required, as we'll need Light Suit regardless. The Light Suit we might be able to skip. It depends on where Cobalt is. Yeah, if Cobalt's on Dark Oasis, we need it. If it's not, then we can bypass it. As far as the game goes, right now Rico's following the STK logic. He's trying to route his keys in while clearing the areas. Rico right now, as far as majors go, well, hello, Dark Aegon Key. As far as majors go, Rico's really looking for Dark Visor, Echo Visor. Well, actually, we don't need Echo Visor. Nope, we have the ability to skip Echo Visor today. He really wants Dark Visor for Hive Dynamo Works, and that's it. We need that Dark Visor. Alrighty, folks. We've reached the 1 hour time period of this race today. It's time for everybody's favorite, the 1 hour rundown. Or at least my favorite. So, within the 1 hour mark, over on the left side with Rico and Baja Blood. Currently, we're in Dark Torvus. We've just gotten STK locations And we're going through Dark Torvus to clear it while we're looking for a few select majors. With the knowledge of our STKs, Rico is hunting for Dark Visor. Dark Visor's hard required for Hive Dynamo Works. Once we have that, we're also looking for Spider Ball, as we need Spider Ball to leave Dynamo Works. If we don't have Spider, we cannot get out. I've tried, it is not fun. So take notes. For the left, we need Spider Ball and Dark Visor. Dark Visor we know is on Storage D, locked behind Dark Samus. Spider Ball is currently unknown, so we have to go hunting for it. But once Rico finds those two, it's down to a guessing game on where Cobalt is. I've already mentioned how Cobalt is relevant. So with the SDKs, I would suggest that Rico goes for. Well, we got Putrid Alcove already. We'll leave a Cursed Lake for last during final cleanup. We'll probably go for Lower Torvus first, and then use that to route in a Sanctuary play. Lower Torvus has an elevator off a training chamber, which leads to Sank Vault side. We'll use that elevator to go right into Sanctuary if we find Spider Ball. If we don't find Spider Ball anywhere in Lower Torvus, it's a possibility that we may go for Sank Entrance, or we may go for Sanctuary anyway off of the Vault side elevator, as we could go to Inghive and do some Inghive movement to get around the Spider Ball requirement. On the right side with Ralen and JB, Ralen currently has the Dark Visor, which is one key of the final puzzle. Now, while they don't have STK hints, that's okay because they'll be able to fall right into them when they're done here in Torvus. Most likely they'll do the same thing Rico did, take a save point at Torvus Lagoon, use that to route in Sky Temple Gateway, and then take the Death Warp. So with Ralen having Dark Visor and the information for Light Suit, as again, Ralen did Mining Station B's loop, so he knows that Hall of Honor Dead has a suit. I would say Ralen's probably going to do something similar, although instead of going immediately back, most likely after Ralen goes for keys, they'll probably do Hall of Honor Dead first as to get Light Suit out of the way. So both runners are probably going to run the same route, except Ralen has knowledge that Rico doesn't, and that could push him ahead. But we'll have to wait and find out. We got some time until that route happens. And it looks like an hour and 5 minutes in, we have the second knowledge of an E-Tank. Our second E. And there's Ralen finding the boost ball. That's great, as that gets Ralen all he needs to get Hall of Honor Dead. We need boost ball to get that suit, which we just found. Not a bad spot either, it's good to have boost ball in Dark Torvus. As that'll push our logic chain slightly ahead. Although granted, we don't have gravity boost to make Lower Torvus easier. But it's an Echoes randomizer. Nothing about it's ever easy. And it appears Rico, he must have peaked Training Chamber's item because he's not going for it. But no, looks like Rico's not going for Lower Torvus cleanup, is going right into Sanctuary Vault side. Interesting play. He's not doing Under Temple yet. Although granted, we can't due to lack of Spider Ball, which makes sense. Okay, so we're probably going to change that route up then. Due to lack of Spider Ball, we really don't want to be in Lower Torvus. Yeah, so I'd say we start clearing Sanctuary out, hope to find Spider Ball, and probably leave Lower Torvus for last. Although granted, you'd have to route into Cursed Lake at some point. Well, speaking of gravity boost, there it is, locked behind Spider Ball. Right here on main reactor. Or main research. Reactor core? It's one of those 3 rooms. Hold on, I gotta look up a map. Gotta find a map. Alright, oh, interesting route. Looks like Ralen decided to take a save warp after doing Upper Torvus cleanup. Not sure why Ralen did. Oh, Ralen's doing this for the suit on meeting grounds. Interesting choice. That's a smart play. Do meeting grounds first, and then route in your STKs to route in going back to Torvus. Or, oh, better idea. Now that Ralen has boost mod, I strongly believe Ralen's going for Sank entrance. Especially with Dark Visor in hands, we can really go through the entirety of Sanctuary. So yeah, that's a great route right there by Ralen. Alright, and over on Rico's side, on the left side, you see Rico trying to get gravity boost out of Logic, and he's got it. First try skip on the Spider Ball track. So what did Rico do? Well, Rico jumped on top of the Echo Gate here on the right, and we used that to screw attack over to the Power Bomb door. Then we used that to jump on top of Cat West's door. That gets us the height we need to line up perfectly for gravity boost. We can skip the entire Spider Ball track with a well-timed screw attack bonk. And thankfully Rico did it first try, which is great work. On the flip side, rounds over here in Hall of Honor Dead. Fun fact, Hall of Honor Dead's puzzle will always be the same no matter what version you're playing. Whatever Randomania or game version you have, this puzzle is always the same. As thankfully, no one's figured out how to randomize it yet. And if they did, it would be one of the worst times ever. As there's not really a good way to determine the answer to this puzzle. And if you randomize it, well, that's gonna be that'd be a fun challenge. And Ralen just went underneath the suit. That was a funny little boost ball. Well, wonderful first try screw attack into the tunnel by Ralen. Did that to bypass the secret door. And this gets him right over back to meeting grounds. And another fun fact, with the Randomania patcher, the puzzles here in Sanctuary are randomized. So that includes the mini gyro chamber color puzzle, all the echo puzzles for echo locks, and the main gyro chamber color puzzle as well. So if you're looking for random patterns, I'd suggest giving New Patcher a try. Also a fun fact, main gyro chamber's color puzzle has a very, very slim possibility of when you activate it, it is automatically unlocked, meaning all the colors are in their proper position. I've personally never seen it happen, but there are videos and clips of it happening, so it is rare, but it is amazing when it happens. All right, so Rico's over in what we call the Spider's Treasure, and we call it Spider's Treasure as this elevator is aptly named Sanctuary Spider Side. And there are three items all within this loop here. We have a Culling Chamber, Hazing Cliff, and Hall of Combat Mastery. And as from the previously named STK hints, Hazing Cliff has an STK for us. Oh, and Rico just got bit by the dark Metroid, causing him to fall. That's not a very nice Metroid. Ralen, on the other hand, has gone over to Defiled Shrine before doing STK hints. And Defiled Shrine has a light ammo expansion. And looks like Ralen's not even going to pick it up. Oh, we're just going to leave it behind. If you're going to be light ammo, then you're useless to us in this context, and you get to sit here for all eternity. So to answer chat, the where was the second suit? One suit was on abandoned work site. The second suit was on Hall of Honor Dead. We had one suit in Upper Torvus, one in the middle of Temple Grounds. Now, Ralen's also getting their STK hints, and it appears Rico has taken a detour over to Aegon Labs. This is great for Rico, because will they go to Labs itself? No, they're going for Sand Canyon. Looks like Rico's going for possibly a Cannonball. Although I'm not sure why you would use Cannonball in any context that we need it. I can't think of why we would need Cannonball. Where was Boost Ball? Boost Ball was in Dark Torvus Cache A. Dark Torvus Cache A for Boost Ball. Oh, but it looks like Rico's going for the Mineshaft Loop. They're going to get some information off of this Amber Translator hint. But we know this hint, and it's not going to be useful to Rico in this context. It gave Rico the confirmation. What confirmation, though? I believe it was... No, I don't believe it was Echo. It could be Echo. Nope, that was Path of Eyes. Oh, nice first try bomb space jump by Rico. And they're using this to get unlimited missiles. All right, now Rico officially has every multiplayer item. At least every item that's shuffled in this pool. There are some multiplayer items that we just cannot shuffle in this pool, as they are useless to us in the race setting. And a good example of that would be the Death Ball and the hacked scan visor. It just serves absolutely no purpose to us. All right, but let's take a step back. Let's think about this logic chain once again. So Rico's just gone through Sanctuary Fortress. They did some clearing of Lower Sanctuary. They still have a good amount of Upper Sanct to go. We don't have Spider Ball, so that's a problem, as we can't do Dynamo Chamber without it. Although there is a very cursed probability, although I doubt it would be the case, but it is possible that Spider Guardian itself has Spider Ball, and the Dynamo Chamber STK is the one on the tunnel for the secondary item. And if that's the case, that's most likely going to be last locationed. Spider Ball could be on Airy. No, it can't. No, it cannot. We need Spider Ball to actually get Airy's item. It could be main gyro chamber. There's a handful of places it could be. Personally, I'd love to see Spider Ball in Alpha Blog. Nobody likes doing Alpha Blog, but I think that would be a nice location to have it. And now that we have Amber Translator, Rico's returning to Aisha and learning that the Dark Visor is in Aegon Wastes. Oh, that's good information for Rico. All right, I think that tells Rico that, hey, we gotta stay in Aegon Waste for a bit, and I gotta find that Dark Visor. But due to everything in early Aegon being completed, Rico's taking the smart play here and going for labs immediately. We can get to labs faster by doing it backwards through Sand Canyon and Vent Area A. And because of that, this will lead perfectly into a Dark Visor first check on Storage D. So that's a good route by Rico and Baja. And it looks like Ralen's going over to a Cursed Lake. That'll get in the third STK. Or in this case, STK4. But it's their third, so it works in the end. All right, Dark Samus, the first introduction of your doppelganger. A difficult fight, putting your early game items to the test, and this fight is over. Yeah, so nice little fun fact. For some reason, Dark Samus takes immense damage due to power bombs. If this will also work in the vanilla game, it's not restricted to Randomania. If you go out of bounds to get a power bomb expansion from Dynamo Chamber, you can bring that here to Dark Samus 1 and just completely destroy the fight. Fun little time save if you're ever having trouble with Dark Samus. Although you'd have to do out of bounds work, and well, that depends on your comfortability with out of bounds. And, you know, Dark Oasis having a HUD system, Rico's getting that information. Now, Rico does have information for Echo, so that tells him that it's either A, Emerald, or B, Cobalt. So we don't have what we need to get that quite yet. We need Spider Ball and Power Bomb Guardian to be defeated. So unfortunately, we will have to wait a bit. Well, looks like Rico's going for sand processing now that he has boost ball and bombs. That's what I'm trying to say. While Ralen heads back over to GFMC's ship and attempts that maybe the Jump Guardian fight held the lock to Spider Ball. Anything's possible. Oh, hey, we got our 30 tank finally. All right, 30 tank. Can't complain about that. And oh, hello, missile expansion. That's not what we want to see. We want a Spider Ball. Show us pictures of Spider Ball from the Spider-Man across the Spider Chasm as we go to the Spider Wall. Too many spider things in Echoes. Alrighty, well, it looks like we're going to take our first peek into some Sky Temple Grounds hints. Now, we did check Plane of Dark Worship and a Cursed Lake, but let's go and take a slight detour over to Phazon Grounds. And that's a good thing to point out, chat. Yeah, Ralen is still at 0 E-tanks this entire time. But the good thing is he's got Light Suit, making this Dark Aether trip a lot easier. Oh, Spider Ball could be locked behind Echo Visor. The game could have put Spider here on Phazon processing. It could be somewhere in Sank, like Sentinel's Bridge or Sentinel's Path. Sentinel's Path is the correct answer. Sentinel's Bridge is in Temple Grounds. That's my mistake. But right now, both runners are really trying to hunt. Where exactly is Spider Ball? That's the biggest headache. If we can't find Spider Ball, then we're gonna have a problem. But both runners running solid at 3 E-tanks, 2 Inghive keys, 1 Aegon key. They have basically almost similar items. Rico has more E-tanks, with Rico at 3, Ralen at 0. Both have Dark Visor, Violet and Amber. They have Seekers and Supers. Rico has Dark Suit, though. But Rico has no information on Light Suit, so that could play off well for Rico. But again, right now, whichever runner finds Spider Ball first is going to have a huge advantage. As right now, Spider Ball locks a good majority of the STKs and required fights. It locks Hive Dynamo Works, Light Dynamo, both under Temple items. And that's it. It locks those 4 locations. And to those of you who are just joining us, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us here at Speed Gaming. We are continuing our Metroid Prime 2 Echoes Mentor and Mentee tournament. We've got RicoV53 and Ralen Tankir with Baja Blood and JB as the mentors. Currently, both runners have done a majority of Upper Torvus, almost the entirety of Aegon Wastes. And right now, both runners are currently searching for Spider Ball to break open their game. Rico, unfortunately, is still looking for Light Suit, while it could be not required. But at this point, it could be. There's a 50-50 due to Dark Oasis having a HUD system. So I'm gonna ask this in chat. We are currently looking for Spider Ball. I want to know where you want to find Spider Ball. Personally, I either want Spider Ball on Vanilla with Spider Guardian, B on Alpha Blog, or C, I would honestly throw Spider Ball in Incash 2, locked behind where you find Sonic Boom. Because no one goes there to check it. But other than that, we're making great progress. You know, we're clearing out these areas. Almost the entirety of Aegon's full cleared. We got a little bit left with light suit checks. Sank map, that's a great location. TCA. Cobalt on Chica, Vanilla Spider. Oh, these locations are cursed. There's the Echo that was confirmed earlier on Battleground Incash. Have we seen Cobalt yet? No, Emogenie. We have not seen Cobalt. That is still missing. I see Haman saying that DMT for giggles. I'm sorry, but DMT, we already did DMT. It was vanilla with the missile expansion. But I will put my notes in chat. Just for the fun of it. So that's just some notes from today's race, if you're interested. It looks like Ralen Society get Cannonball. That's an interesting play. Cannonball is useful against certain bosses and enemies. But with that being said, I do want to remind everyone that we currently have 2 other races ongoing over on Speed Gaming 4 and Speed Gaming 2. So if you're interested in more Echoes Mentor and Mentee racing, be sure to give those 2 channels a follow, as we're currently live on all 3. Well, looks like Rico is also going for Cannonball. Now, again, I'll go over Cannonball once again. So Cannonball is a state that gives us 3 different effects. As long as we don't enter a kinetic orb cannon, we can keep it. But if we do enter an orb cannon, then Cannonball will be removed from our inventory. Cannonball gives us a boost ball, although we have main boost ball. It makes us immune to damage and Dark Aether, and from all damage and Morph Ball. And it also deals 500,000 hit points of damage per successful frame against certain enemies. And little fun fact about Cannonball: if you go to Sanctuary Fortress and try to use Cannonball against a Resbit, those flying little electrical creatures that hack your suit, for whatever reason, Resbits take 4 times damage from Cannonball. So that equates to 2 million hit points of damage per frame of Cannonball against a Resbit. I don't have the answer as to why the number is so high, but I find it hilarious when you just roll underneath a res bit and they explode. Oh, looks like Rico's going for Hall of Honor Dead. This will give Rico their light suit, and they can start doing light suit checks, which I think Ralen's going for right now once they're coming back from Battleground. Yes, indeed they are. Ralen's going right for Feeding Pit over an A-gun. Yeah, screw attack this one enemy in particular for massive damage. You're absolutely right. But in this case, we're using a cannonball. Does Feeding Pit have a... Oh! That's not good. Emerald Translator on Feeding Pit. That tells us Cobalt and Dark Oasis, which is not good. So, just to update the logic chain a little bit, Ralen just found Emerald Translator off of Feeding Pit. That gives us confirmation that the only HUD system remaining is Cobalt. Cobalt Translator is used for one thing outside of the Cobalt hints. Or technically two things. There are two Cobalt doors in Sanctuary Fortress. One on Sank Map Station, and one on Dark Oasis. Not Dark Oasis, there's Sank Map Station and Workers Path. So the good news is Spider Guardian cannot logically have Spider Ball, as Camir's pointing out in chat. We need Powerbomb Guardian defeated for Dark Oasis's item to spawn. Powerbomb Guardian requires Spider Ball to defeat the boss fight. So, logic speaking, it cannot be Spider Ball on Spider Guardian. The problem, in order for us to access Spider Guardian, we need to do Dark Oasis. So we have a problem. Well, another problem. We need to find Spider Ball to do Powerbomb Guardian, to do Dark Oasis, to do Dynamo Works. Good luck with that logic chain, folks. We're gonna have a fun time on that. Now, I'm gonna stop myself there because there is a way around it. If these runners want, if they're confident in out-of-bounds movement, there is a multi-room out-of-bounds they can do in Sank Energy Controller with Alir. By screw attacking out-of-bounds, we can do a multi-room out-of-bounds to bypass the Cobalt door and go right into a Worker's Path. That gets us into Dynamo Works without needing Cobalt. It's extremely difficult. It's not recommended. But if you're absolutely confident in doing it, then it could save you some time in trying to find Spider Ball at this point. But a Spider Ball could be a number of checks, as we have almost every single major outside of Spider. So in the meantime, both of these runners are going to do various key cleanups while hunting for Spider. And it's either going to be somewhere in Upper Sank, somewhere in Lower Torvis, or it's going to be hiding in Inghive somewhere. So Ralen's going for underground tunnel where, hey look, there's your main power bombs after all this time. So now anything we've been doing with power bombs is in logic. But, well, we're going to check underground tunnels hint. What do we have here? The keys to Hive Temple can be found in Aegon, Dark Aegon, and Great Temple. Alrighty, thank you, game. We do not need to know that. We do not need to know that, as we can bypass those keys by like 3 different ways. But thankfully, Quadraxis is confirmed to be half defeated. We still don't know what's on Tumos. But, well, no, actually, it'd probably be fully defeated since we logically need Spider Ball to do Quadraxis. So it's not going to be anywhere there. I'm sorry. Never mind. Ralen just got a huge advantage. Congratulations to Ralen for finding Spider Ball on Torvis Grove. That is huge, huge information for Ralen. Oh, that put... Okay, that's going to be a problem for Rico, as unfortunately Rico does not have Emerald to get Spider Ball logically. And yes, you beat me to it, Camir. You beat me to it. I was going to say it. Rico could do Gate Skip. Now, what exactly is Gate Skip? Well, and there's a room in Torvus Bog with a portal on it. It's Forgotten Bridge. If Rico were to go to Forgotten Bridge, there's a triple bomb jump standable that Rico can use and abuse to jump over Forgotten Bridge's gate, and that gets him into Torvus Grove backwards. But huge find for Ralen. This puts Ralen in go mode. Ralen has every single item he needs to beat his game and get all the SDKs. Now, granted, Ralen doesn't have gravity boost, so we're gonna have a little bit of trouble as we need to do air underwater yet again in order to raise Hydro Dynamo Station to get towards Under Temple. No gravity means we have to do it. And hello, Krar, great to see you here. Long story short, I'm just going to say this. Spider Ball Go mode on Torvus Grove, Cobalt and Dark Oasis, which is possibly hard required, Emerald and Feeding Pit. Let's just say it's bad. And once again, STK hints have been posted below. Alright, so once again, to explain air underwater, Ralen right now is trying to morph at the same frame he enters a body of water. Right there, he's got it. You saw that we have a crystal clear view while we're in a body of water. That tells us we have air underwater. And there's that second E-tank for Ralen. Took a little longer than we would like, but that's okay. So, unfortunately for Rico really needs to get over to Torvus Bog. The problem is, Rico doesn't have Emerald to get into Torvus Grove. So either A, Rico needs to do a Gate Skip, or B, they need to go to Feeding Pit to get that Emerald. The problem is, Rico's still hunting for Spider Ball. And at this point, I think Rico might be going into Sank Entrance. No, they can't. He cannot. No Emerald. So with that knowledge, I would say Rico hopefully uses that to detour into Aegon. Do some full clears of Aegon, since you have Annihilator and you have Annihilator plus Light Suit. Or that could push Rico into Torvus, start doing some full clears of upper and lower, and hopefully that leads into Rico doing Gate Skip. So we have two possibilities of what Rico can do. Hopefully he goes for one of them, and either A, goes into a Feeding Pit to find Emerald, or B, does Gate Skip and Torvus as he's trying to full clear for Spider. We just gotta wait and find out. And did Rico move the block? Hopefully? Okay, Rico did move the block that was locking this super door. Okay, that could have been bad. All right, and there is Under Temple. Say hello to the Power Bomb Guardian. One of the very few bosses that is strictly fought entirely in Morph Ball mode. For Echoes, there are 2 main bosses, 1 mini boss, and the second phase of Emperor Ring. So you got 4 fights that are only fought in Morph Ball. And those include Power Bomb Guardian, Emperor Rings Phase 2, Spider Guardian, and everybody's favorite, the Caretaker drone. There's some fun little Echoes trivia for you all out there, if that's on your bingo card. Yeah, we're gonna make that a bingo ice square now. Do all the Morph Ball related boss fights and Echoes. Have fun with that one, everyone. All right, so Rico is in Torvus Bog. Oh no, they're going for lower Torvus. They're going for lower Torvus, not upper. Rico, no! Stay in upper Torvus, my friend! Don't go into the water! Go back! The sad thing is there is no information telling Rico to go to Torvus Grove. Oh, that's heartbreaking. Yes, Rico does not have Emerald. That's the sad part. Because Rico doesn't have Emerald, they can't do Underground Tunnel. And because of that, there's no information telling Rico to do Grove or Gate Skip. Oh, I feel so bad for Rico right now. All right, so Rico's going to scan dungeons in cache, which tells us it's a missile related. We know that it's a dead check. We have all missile related upgrades that we need. And looks like Ralen is all done here in Lower Torvus. They've done both Under Temple items. They did Torvus Lagoon. And they did Putrid Alcove. So Ralen does not have to go back to Torvus Bog today. All they have left is Sank Vault, Dynamo Works, and Hive Dynamo, as well as Hazencliff. So all Ralen has to do is go to Sanctuary Fortress, get the rest of their STKs, and they're done. Once again, I'd like to remind chat that with how long these races can go, this is your friendly reminder to please stay hydrated. Get yourself a bottle of water or a glass of iced tea, maybe a cup of soda, whatever you like to drink. Just remember to stay hydrated. And it doesn't hurt to get up and stretch every now and then. But that's okay, because we're still watching Rico hunt for that spider ball while Ralen goes through Sanctuary to clear his game. Yeah, ooh, Ralen's taking a good play, going right for the spider elevator of Sanctuary off of the Aegon Temple side. Oop, and Rico's going to do a bit of a trick here to get into Grapple Guardian early without needing to go back to the main Hydro station. Rico, you need to enter the center of the room. You need to enter the door for this boss fight to start. But unfortunately, because of the way Rico entered this fight, it has to be reloaded. So with Grapple Guardian, if you enter Grapple Guardian from under Transit 1 or Dungeon and screw attack up, this fight's flag will not trigger, as the room is not on the proper layer for the cutscene to start. But Rico still does not have Spider Ball, so they can't do Powerbomb Guardian yet. And I can only imagine what Rico and Baja are saying to each other, throwing out ideas and recommendations on where is Spider Ball, what can we really foreseeably do, what can we check, where would it be a good place for Spider Ball to be hiding. Or they could be trying to hunt Emerald so they can do underground tunnel and get some Torvis information. But smart play by Ralen, going for Dark Oasis first. That gets Cobalt Translator, and this will lead right into Spider Guardian. So we're not going to see any out of bounds today. We're going right for Cobalt, which I think is a great play because a multi-room any out of bounds is difficult. A multi-room out of bounds is even harder. Another little fun fact, Grapple Guardian cannot take damage if you don't scan him. So you can be in this fight for as long as you want. As long as Grapple Guardian has not been scanned, good luck trying to hit him. Now, you might be able to maneuver around and get him from the back, but it's extremely unlikely. There's that Cobalt for Ralen off of Dark Oasis. Great job. Oh, but another fun fact. If for any reason you have double damage and Sunburst, Grapple Guardian does not like double damage Sunburst. They'll take massive damage from it. Rico's not even going to pick up that missile expansion. He's just going to leave it behind. And for good reason, too. That would change the layer in this room. We don't want to do that. We want to leave this room as is. But I like to think of Rico leaving that missile behind. Like, you know what? I just did this entire boss fight, and you're going to give me a missile? No, you don't get the Sanctuary of being picked up in my inventory. I'm going to leave you behind. All right, so now that Ralen has Cobalt and Spider, that's leading him right into Spider's treasure. We're going to see a Spider Guardian fight here very shortly, and we're going to get this race over in about 15-20 minutes. Now, again, it's not over until the final boss is defeated. But right now, Ralen has a strong lead. At this time, I say Ralen's a solid 5 minutes ahead. Yeah, so Ralen is currently at least 5 minutes ahead. Rico still theoretically has to go into Feeding Pit to get Emerald, to go into Underground Tunnel for Torvis Grove, for a Spider Ball on Torvis Grove, and then use that to route back into Lower Torvis to do Power Bomb Guardian. And yep, you're absolutely correct, Conster. It's not over till the final boss is defeated. So Ralen could take a major nosedive. Rico could come across amazing luck. You never know what's going to happen when it comes to these races. Oh, Ralen, you had it, but you turned one too many. But while we have a little bit of more downtime, yeah, I do want to mention that. I do want to mention the music. I'm a huge music nerd, and I absolutely love the soundtracks and composition of Echoes. Yeah, Lower Torvis being so calm and relaxing, Sanctuary with this techno sort of beeping, keeping you moving along in this new age of a world. Yeah, the entire Metroid series across all games. That's fantastic music. And yeah, I agree with you, Soaring. Ralen is only riding at 2 E-tanks. It's not recommended for final bosses. Ideally, you'd want to have at least 4 to 5 if you're trying to fight Emperor Ring, just due to the amount of damage Emperor Ring 3 can cause. But if Ralen does a great Emperor Ring, then he'll be okay. And I see some love for Lower Norfair. That's a good location. I'll give you that. Lower Norfair's got some great music to it. All right, welcome to Sanctuary's Vault, location of another STK. Meanwhile, Rico has taken the lower Torbus elevator to go into Sanctuary Vault side. And it looks like Rico's going to do some STK cleanup here in Sanctuary before Wall, not before, but Wall on the hunt for their Spider Ball. And a question: what is an STK? STK is the abbreviation for a Sky Temple key. Now, STKs are those big green keys that you need to enter the Sky Temple gateway, which opens a warp portal to the final zone, the Sky Temple, and in turn allows you to fight final bosses. Oh, hey, nice high five. Both runners are in Sanctuary Vault at the same time. Haven't seen a high five yet today. And by high five, I simply mean that both racers are in the same room at the same time. And now it's over as Ralen's already done in Vault, and Rico has 3 more spinners to activate. Alright, Ralen has 3 keys left. They gotta do, we've gotta do Dynamo Works, Hive Dynamo Works, and we still need to take a slight detour over to Hazen Cliff. Oh, but that's okay. That's okay. Oh, and I forgot to mention this little feature of a cannonball. A cannonball blows up mini quads. You saw here twice that Ralen just rolled into the legs of those mini quads, and their heads just instantly exploded. That's a nice little fun feature of Cannonball as well. And here's the entire reason why we needed Cobalt: to lower this one gate. We did all that work in Dark Oasis and Powerbomb Guardian just to find this Cobalt, just so we could lower that one gate. And that, in turn, gets us to Spider Ball Guardian. In my opinion, one of the worst bosses to fight, just due to how technical it is. It's simple, but it's also difficult. And remember how earlier I mentioned Cannonball makes you immune to damage Wall and Morph Ball? You can see that Ralen's not getting shocked or bounced around by Spider Guardian. He's just rolling right through it like he's not even there. Ooh, nice little fun piece of trivia for you out there. So with Spider Guardian, if you try to use power bombs on Spider Guardian, the boss deletes itself and you are hard blocked. You'll need to reset your file, or just quit back to last save. So Spider Guardian. With that in vanilla, you're not supposed to have power bombs for this fight. Power bombs are gained after Spider Guardian. But if you manage to go out of bounds and bring power bombs into this Spider Guardian fight, you can use them to damage Spider Guardian. But you can only use it once. And what I mean by that is that if you power bomb Spider Ball Guardian in any vanilla copy, or any disc copy or emulated copy. Spider Guardian gets killed, but the boss dies in the improper way, causing your game to do a soft lock. You can't leave Spider Guardian's chambers without Spider Ball. And oops, you've just deleted the Spider Ball item because Spider Ball Guardian got deleted. It's a fun little tidbit, but hey, that's why we recommend please never use power bombs on Spider Guardian unless you're using Randomania. The developers of Randomania put a safety flag in where if you use power bombs on Spider Guardian with Randomania, you can see it here. Oh, Ralen's not using it, but it causes Spider Guardian to go into its green phase and activate the morph ball slots. I thought that's a pretty neat little thing to learn. It makes fighting Spider Guardian a lot easier. All right, enough talking about Spider Guardian. We've seen this boss for too long. Let's go and take a peek over at Rico and see how he's doing. Well, it appears Rico's over here in Sank Temple Access, finding a Dark Torvus key, which we don't need. And for some reason is using the triple bomb jump method to screw attack over. Which is strange because we have Dark Visor and Seekers to activate the Morph Ball cannon. Oh, because we have Cannonball. We don't want to lose Cannonball. That's why we're doing it. And that little animation got stuck with the screw attack. That's always funny to watch for me. Alright, so Rico had to do that trick to bypass going up and around and towards Watch Station. What we did there was a triple bomb space jump. And as far as BSJs go and bomb space jumps, what they essentially are is we're doing a bomb jump or a double or triple bomb jump against a piece of collision. As long as the camera is behind us and in a stuck position, we can get what's called an instant unmorph and use that to activate a jump input while we're in the air. So instant morphing, instant unmorphing. If you try to use the morph ball button while your camera is obstructed, the morph ball animation skips, it does not play, and you will instantly go in or out of morph ball. We abuse that feature with a bomb space jump to bomb jump up, get our camera stuck on a piece of collision, do that instant unmorph, and when we do an instant unmorph, we have a very few frame window where we can input a jump input. If we input a jump during that few frame window, we can also screw attack, and we can use that to screw attack at heights we normally wouldn't be able to, and bypass certain doors and gates and barriers. It's a little tricky to pull off, but with some slight practice, it's one of the best tricks ever. Yeah, that's pretty funny how the glass is broken for Rico and the color puzzle is still here. And that glass broke due to Cannonball. Thankfully, it doesn't break anything and we're okay. On the other side, though, Rico, unfortunately, is still hunting for Spider Ball. Ralen, on the other hand, has got 8 out of the 9 final keys. And it does, I agree with you, Ivern, it does sort of... Actually, no, I don't even think we never found a hint for Spider Ball. Ralen sort of lucked into it, I believe. I could be wrong, please correct me if I am. But I don't recall ever seeing a Spider Ball hint. I can't recall if it ever was. I don't believe so. And I'm not oh, I know where we're doing this. Round's going towards Hive entrance here to utilize a save station. We're using this save station as a save warp, and we're going to use that to go back to start for some reason. Although we only have... Oh, we did get 9 keys. We got Hazencliff. Alright, so Ralen has all their keys. We're going right for final bosses, everyone. This race is almost over. And it's been a fantastic race, you know. Coming up on the 2-hour mark. Both of these runners performing amazing tricks, doing some technical logic, pulling off amazing routes. Unfortunately, Ralen took the victory here due to them going towards feeding pitch first to get Emerald, and then using that Emerald to go into an underground tunnel play. Sadly, Rico hasn't done light suit checks yet, never came across that Emerald, and as such has no incentive to go back towards Torvus Grove. That's just... that's heartbreaking to watch. And little fun fact, you saw Rico use the Annihilator and Echo to lower the gate. We did this so that we could use Cannonball and still keep it while destroying the core. So in order to normally destroy this main energy controller's core, you'd enter an orb cannon, fire yourself at the core, and it blows up. Well, unfortunately, if we do that method, we lose Cannonball since we entered an orb cannon. Rico's trying to bypass that requirement by entering Morph Ball against the core. We're going to stand on it, Morph Ball. Oh, that's a Cannonball trigger. And we just got a Power Bomb expansion. But this allows Rico to save Cannonball. And oh, it does not appear Ralen took any ammunition when he was back at landing site. Oh, that could cost him with Emperor Ring 2 and not having power bombs. Alrighty, so with the final bosses, there's some special things about each final boss that we should go over. And I'm going to go over them now, that way we can watch the fight in full. Alright, so let's get this started. Emperor Ring number... Oh, perfect music, though. Rico over in Watch Station with the Space Pirate theme. That's always a great battle music. Alright, so Emperor Ring. Emperor Ring number 1 will be firing Light Beam or Annihilator at the 4 extended tendrils, and we'll be using that to expose Emperor Ring's core. Then we will most likely just spam fire Annihilator due to us having double damage, or using super missiles. With double damage, it's either 2 supers or a handful of Annihilator shots. Alright, Emperor Ring number 2, we're going to be rolling around the exoskeleton, trying to blow open the little culverts with bombs and or power bombs. There's 11 culverts total that we need to destroy. Pretty simple enough. And thanks to us having Cannonball, we won't get knocked off due to the mini tentacles that pop out. Emperor Ring number 3. I will go over Emperor Ring number 3 when we get to that phase, as there's a little bit of a funny developer quirk on it. Alright, let's get the Emperor Ring fight started. Emperor Ring number 1. Again, we're destroying the extended tendrils, and then we're going to spam fire Annihilator into the core. Alright, here's the core. Get a good lock on, great position. Okay, keeps firing. Almost there. He's got a bad angle, though. He's too close. Ralen's unfortunately hitting the wall of the core, not the actual center. But great job, first cycle. Alright, Emperor Ring number 2. Because we have Cannonball, we can just roll around and blow open these culverts however we want. We will not get knocked off, as the tentacles can't hurt us. And Rico's going towards Hive entrance and hoping Spider Ball's over there. Oh, that's going to be a long journey for nothing, sadly. And Ralen doing pretty good with only having 2 E-tanks. All right, just one more. All right, Emperor Ring number 3. So, for whatever reason, during development, there was meant to be a third damage step with Emperor Ring. You were supposed to damage Emperor Ring by screw attacking at its armor plating. Well, the armor plating got removed. They scrapped that for the fight. But what the developers didn't do was remove the hitbox. Emperor Ring's hitbox for that armor is still active. And as such, we can use screw attack to injure it. So if we screw attack at the feet and underbelly of Emperor Ring, that hitbox will be active, and we could just destroy it so much. Screw attack deals major damage to Emperor Ring 3. But instead, it looks like Ralen's going for a backup strat, not comfortable with the screw attack, so they're going to use double damage Annihilator. Just shoot it a lot and it'll die. Alright, great job by Ralen on Emperor Ring 3. Now it's time to head over for Dark Samus 3 and Dark Samus 4. Yes, there are 2 phases to this Dark Samus fight, but hopefully we only see one. So, Dark Samus 3. Well, what Ralen will attempt to do is input a very specific damage number on Dark Samus. Now, this damage number will force Dark Samus to try to enter her 4th phase. She'll rise up, crash down, and try to enter the center of the room. Well, what Ralen's going to attempt to do is, before Dark Samus enters the center of the room, we're going to go for a stun lock. So let's see if Ralen gets it. We did a very specific damage. Dark Samus rises up, crashes down. Where's the crash? There it is. Screw attack from extra damage. Great job. And now we're firing missiles to force Dark Samus to raise her phase on shield. Okay, where did she go? Where did she go? Oh, Dark Samus in the center. Great attempt by Ralen, though. Unfortunately, we got centered. So what Ralen was attempting to do is, we saw Ralen use missiles on Dark Samus. That forces her to raise her phase on shield attack or defense. When that shield goes down, there's a few frame window where we can input some damage. And we can repeat this by missile, stun lock shield, damage, repeat. We can continue that process and force Dark Samus to just get locked into an infinite damage loop. And as such, end the fight. Unfortunately, Dark Samus did enter the center of the room, so we have to do this fight normally. We can't speed this up. There's nothing we can really do. We just have to wait for Dark Samus to fire these little phazon pellets at us and shoot it right back at her. But either way, great job by Ralen and JB. Congratulations. We got about 2 more shots and this fight will be over. Possibly one more. It might be ending in 1 more shot. All right, will you fire it? Yes, you will. Give us the phazon pellets. Aim, fire, time. Alrighty. GG. Congratulations to Ralen and JB for their first place victory in today's race. Rico and Baja have decided to forfeit. But great job overall. All right, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take care of the buttons here for a minute, and we're going to invite all 4 of these folks into the commentary booth for some post-game interviews. So stand by with us for just a minute. But with that being said, we now welcome the team of Ralen and Jay into the booth. Welcome. Congratulations, you two.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Congratulations on that first place victory. You won by a good amount. And we're trying to get Rico and Baja in here. Just waiting on the bot. Sorry about that.
Oh, did they only now find Emerald?
Yeah, they did not. We'll discuss that in just a minute. But now we welcome Baja and Rico to the booth. Welcome in, you two. GGs are in order.
GGs.
So before we get into anything, Rico, would you like to know where your spider ball was?
Sure, lay it on me.
Take a wild guess. If you had to put it somewhere, where would you have it?
Boost Guardian.
Well, I'll say you're close. It was Torvis Grove.
Oh my god.
You know where your emerald? Well, you found your emerald off a feeding pit just now.
Oh.
Yeah, that was painful. What happened?
I have one question as the mentor. One question only. Where the hell were the E-tanks?
We had a decent number. I think we got up to 5 or 6 by clearing literally the entire game except for where the progression was.
Our first E-tank was like
an hour and a half in.
Yeah, so we were running on 2 E-tanks at the end.
You're telling me you didn't blind check Hive entrance? There's an E-tank there.
Oh, that bad, huh?
All right, yeah, it looks like this logic chain was just absolutely horrid at the end. Finding your emerald, well, let's see, finding both suits. You had a suit in Hall of Honor dead. You had a suit on Abandoned Worksite. Your boost ball up in Crossroad. Nope, that was Cannonball. Your boost ball is on Cache. So, emerald on light suit check to go into Underground Tunnel. That was fun. Well, I guess I'll ask, what are your initial thoughts and feelings on today's race to both your runners?
I think my next runner agreement will have at least 1 starting E-tank, maybe 2, just for reasons.
I don't blame you.
I thought it was fine until I didn't.
Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate. Like there were several times where like we knew Labs was available, and like it got to the point where we put it off long enough that it's just like, all right, we just lose if it's there. Like we're gonna last location of there, and we just lose, and we just lost.
we kind of doubled the labs early to full clear as much as possible, and then we were at a point where we left for hints that like I was like, okay, what do we have? We have 3 Jackson and a Dark Aegon, and we have 2 Jackson Torvis. One of them must be progression, and we're in 1 item go mode. We're going Aegon. And then
it worked out.
We were like, okay, there was like the hint for feeding pit access 3 rooms away hut system, and we were like, okay, that's just gonna be Echo Visor. Okay, so Echo is in feeding pit, and then we see Echo in Battlegrounds. We're like, huh. So this is how it is, huh?
Yeah, that cobalt was needed for one thing and one thing only, unfortunately. Just to lower that gate into Worker's Path. But on the bright side, no one had to do a multi-room out of bounds to bypass it.
Not today, at least.
Not today.
It would have routed really clean, like to do PB Guardian into Sank, but Cobalt Gate.
It was just not a fun time, but I mean, under just over 2 hours, it wasn't terrible.
I think that is my fastest seed completion to date. Like slowly getting better. But yeah, routing wise, I definitely needed to rely on Jay's calls a few times.
That's why I'm there.
Yeah, this was not exactly a jet seed, so So getting a PB
this
on
was-
this is impressive, yeah.
Yeah, this
Agreed.
was like this like logic-wise, this was a monstrosity. This was
Absolutely.
really hard to route logically.
Yeah, let's go and take a look at the early game notes, shall we? Let's see, what do we have here? Well, you had your, let's see, bombs on the GFMC crate, your Dark Visor on Storage D, Seekers on Jump Guardian, Bomb Guardian had a screw attack, you knew about a key in a Cursed Lake early, and your Dark Beam on Warrior's Walk. But what the good thing was, you found your Amber Translator in Transport Center. And both you immediately went for that Amber Hint in Portal Terminal to say, hey, wait, here's your Dark Beam hint.
Yeah. So where were supers was the next question.
Do you want to tell what happened, Ralen? Or should I?
Please do you? I completely forgot about the race apparently again already.
Ralen was about to just go for labs. It was like, no. Sand cache? Right, the sand cache is an item in this game. That I should check. And supers. And we go back to Dark World. And then Ralen, on the way out of Warriors Walk, grabbing Dark Beam, went in with 70 energy, and on the way out, bonked like 3 times and came out with 2 energy. Just to take a pivot save to die in Battlegrounds.
Well, the good thing is you safety saved before taking the death.
Yeah. My heart. I saw the HP drop and drop and drop. I was like, Ralen! Oh.
Yeah, there's a reason why I might want to have another an E-Tank to start next time. Like, not having an E-Tank is just yeah. I have sometimes I have these moments where I just don't move like I'm supposed to. Take more damage that I'm supposed to, and that can be troublesome.
Yeah, I like actually pulled up the visualizer. I was like, is an E-Tank required for this in beginner? Nope. It expects 90 health. So like barely enough.
Just roll straight, go down the little hill off of Warriors Walk in the Battleground intersection, and you'll be okay.
Yeah, but not
Mostly.
gonna lie, I think beginners should require an E-Tank for that.
Well, I mean, you just gotta go in a straight line, you should be alright.
Yeah, just don't bonk your head.
Out of curiosity, did you guys blind check all of that, or when did you guys grab the hint?
Where was that hinted?
I think Path of Ice?
Path
It
of
was a
Eyes
violent
gave
hit.
you your Echo.
Was it not one of the late Aegon hints? Was it like Aegon Energy Controller or MSB? I feel like
I
you
think it was
got at an
MSB.
annoying time.
Yeah, I think MSB gave you the suit information.
Yeah, because that was like our second pass of Aegon. And like, yeah, the light suit hint being hinted made me not want to clear labs. But then it wasn't, it felt really slow to like save warp out of MSB, get the light suit, and then come back to Aegon, which probably would have been the correct play. And then we just never made it back to labs. part I feel a little bad because I didn't remember that we didn't have main PBs. And so like everything we were doing in Sank, I was initially thinking was in logic, but it was not. But also like it probably wasn't crazy to think that it was just going to be PBs or Emerald in labs to open up Sank, and then the next thing would be there. So I might have still made that play anyways. But I felt bad for making it on incorrect assumptions.
Today was the day. I'm marking it in my calendar. Maha did not go where the items are.
Oh, this will go down in history. Although I do have to say some bad news, though. Baja, did you and Rico ever find main PBs?
Nope.
Do you want to know where they were?
Are they also behind Emerald?
Yeah, they're hiding on underground tunnel.
Ugh, gross.
It was underground tunnel main PBs, and then I was like, okay, Sank is now open. But you know, Spider could just be in Grove right here. That also requires PBs and Spider.
Yeah, like there was even like I was just going for the hint and I was about to turn around and they just immediately called me back. Oh, stop! Go check Grove. And yeah, it was Spider. And yeah, it was probably pretty good to not just leave again.
And that's a good time to listen to your mentor and continue along your logic chain. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? Your Emerald and Feeding Pit, Bad Location, Cobalt and Dark Oasis. Congratulations on that one. Well, let's see. What else is on this list here? Oh, battle. You both found that information for a Battleground HUD system early, though. That must have helped with your routing.
We did not.
We knew that Oasis had an HUD system.
Yeah.
And we knew that Echoes was somewhere in the area. Echo was somewhere in the area, so we initially assumed it was Echo being on
Dark Oasis.
Oasis, and then we were checking Battlegrounds on our second pass through because we just then had the Dark Visor, and there was a Visor, and we were a bit surprised.
I have to say, in our defense, I just felt like taking the fights right now is slow, and the chance of the Battleground in-cache being early game required is low. Low enough for us to skip Battleground's fight sequence 3 times in a row and then skip the bioenergy production fight trigger twice. We just didn't take any of the forced fights. So the in-cache would never spawn. Or not the in-cache, the, what's it called? Key bearer.
Key bearer.
Never spawned. What really made the play there was just like Dark Aegon having more checks available at once than Torvis, because in Torvis we were like, okay, anything Emerald or Breath Boost Doctor is currently out of logic, so we only have Hydro Dynamo Station and Training Chamber, so might as well push Aegon where we have more locations and it's closer right now.
You see, the hint actually pushed us away from Dark Aegon because we thought that the hinted HUD system was pointing to that Echo Visor.
We did too.
Yeah, so unfortunately, the game pushed you away from the one area you had to go for your continuation of the chain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you were making great progress, though, Rika. I'm not going to put any blame on you. Yep. You did a good clear of Aegon. You went right into Sanctuary early. You did a bunch of Upper Torvis early to get your Dark Suit. Your early game was fantastic. It's just that one hint that sent you astray.
I really want to know how close it was up to the Light Suit.
Now, speaking of hints, let's see. Sky Temple hints. How do you both feel about those today?
I mean, none of them were really bad. I mean, you'd never really want to see Spider Guardian, but since there were 2 keys on it, it kind of felt more worth it. Granted, I never got there, but...
I mean, I just take them as they come. Currently, I've dealt with Spider Guardian enough times that I feel like at home in the arena at this point. So I'm not too worried about it anymore. It's not fun to see it, but if there's 2 in there, then well. And as for the others, with the HUD system and Oasis, knowing that Powerbomb Guardian just had double value on keys, I don't know, but it felt like okay. But maybe I'm just not used to actually good seeds yet.
Well, on the bright side, at least it wasn't a reed seed.
I mean, to be fair, Ralen, I think this is about as good as SDK hints and Echoes are gonna get.
Well,
at least what's worth from my experience.
Jay, there's a reason why you're not generating the races for a while.
If the multiverse that I'm playing with a few friends are anything to go by, or the training seed that I do, then these are about as good as the keys and get. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I understand. It makes sense. But hey, we still have a long way to go in this tournament. We have a lot of learning left ahead for all the mentors. The the mentors. Well, the mentors can always learn from the mentees. Working together, making better routes, better trick knowledge, understanding how things are done. There's a lot left to do, and we've got a large amount of weeks left ahead of us. I think we're only on week 2 out of 5, 6.
Shout out on me teaching Jay about the standable there in the Spider Guardian Phase 3.
I knew you had to say, yeah, I also learned that there's a cool standable today.
Yeah, actually, I didn't know that you could screw tech from like the middle level of bioenergy up to the super missile door. That was fun.
That one I knew, but did you know with this third phase of Spider Gun, right? When you drop from the top and you lay a PB, if you just hold right, you're gonna land on the standable right next to the bomb slot?
Yep.
Because I did not know.
You can barely hit him with bombs from there too. It's a little annoying, but I usually prefer to just bomb him from the top, like kind of overhanging that top ledge. But yeah, if you've got loads of PBs to spare, that's a good strat too.
Because that was something I was not aware of. That was my today I learned moment.
Spider Guardian is not a fun boss to go through.
We have PBs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the PBs help, but still, just
we had
Spider
Cannonball,
Guardian
so,
itself.
like,
Yeah.
Well, that's fair. Cannonball. I mean, what was? I guess we should comment on that a little bit. Ralen, Rico. I mean, you both found Cannonball relatively early, with it being hinted at Crossroad. How did your routing go with Cannonball? Were you happy to see it? Were you not happy? What was your big moment with Cannonball?
I was kind of just glad I knew where it was, so I wasn't gonna like accidentally run into it on like a blind check.
I mean, I took note of it being there, but didn't really have much else thought about it because we knew it was boost locked anyway, logically, so didn't really matter. Then yeah, when it came back to or came to going back to labs or for Cobalt, not sure at which point. It was just convenient to route in as a Dark World portal, so like take it and then we can keep it for Spider Guardian and Emperor 2, which, given the low health situation, was certainly probably the biggest upside of.
Yeah, that was a good compensation. Hey, granted, even though with 2 E-tanks, you still paid off pretty well.
Yeah, but that is probably also thanks to multiplayer items. Having Eradicator Beam, like double damage, unlimited ammo, Annihilator, certainly helped for that. Without that, it could have probably been a way more messy fight.
2 energy tanks, I must admit, I was kind of afraid of Emperor 3, because, you know, Emperor 3 kind of likes to hippity-hoppity, your E-tanks are not my property.
Yep,
Sort of like
I
to
can
throw you
confirm that.
around. All right, I don't have any other notes on this, but I guess I'll throw the mic over. Do any of you four have any questions or concerns or anything you'd like to anything at all?
Not especially in terms of questions. I'm just probably curious to watch the spec and see how it compared, especially for the earlier half. But yeah, otherwise, GG. Was really glad to have Jay with me to guide me through this. I probably would have been complete nerf break otherwise. Yeah. Best of luck in the next rounds, and excited to see who I'm facing next. Maybe this time Spider Guardian without Cobalt. Who knows?
Yeah, GG's from my side as well. It was a interesting seat to say the least. I'm also looking forward to watching this back actually.
All right.
I don't really have anything to add. Just GG's.
And yeah, GG's as well to both of you. Yeah, well played, Rico. Just got a little rando today. Happens to the best of us.
Oh, I have played so much rando and different ones, and yeah, sometimes you just get rando. That happens.
All right, and with that, I'm going to throw two final questions. We'll wrap up our program for tonight. And these questions relate specifically to this mentor-mentee tournament itself. So, Rico, Ralen, with you two being mentees in this tournament, how would you explain your experience so far? You know, how have the different mentors helped you out? What have you learned? What are you looking forward to learning in the future? And just what has your experience been overall?
I mean, I initially didn't have too much time, especially up to the first week of the tournament to prepare. But like overall, just the readiness of the different mentors and like the resources that were made available and to share, just that you are able to learn, are so helpful and so great. And like almost like if you want to have a mentor with you, like at almost any time, you can at least find someone who will always help out with, if you want to learn anything, if you want to try, learn some tricks or just a bit of movement, and yeah, has been absolutely great so far. So very glad that the mentors are doing the work they do. Wouldn't be possible without them.
It's a pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had more time, because when I have gotten to work with mentors, it's been really great and I've learned a lot, but work does not agree with me.
I feel, yeah.
I have the special buff for once in this in the mentor tournament shenanigans. I have the special buff that both Germans in the tournament came to me to ask for me to be mentored, so now I can actually mentor at reasonable EU-friendly times and not break the sleep schedule. That's like, I think, the best thing that could have happened for me, honestly.
We learned from the Prime tournament and are actually speaking German too.
Yeah, we're actually speaking German this time, huh?
Yep, we do. That was not happening in the first race in the Prime Enter tournament. Nope.
Nope, no chance.
All right, I'm going to flip the question around now. So, Jay, Baha, now that with both of you being mentors for this tournament, same question: how's your experience been overall, and how have you helped prepare the mentees set up for the weeks coming?
You want to go first on that?
Sure. Sometimes I question my mentoring ability, honestly. Mostly, like, I feel like there's definitely people that are better for teaching movement and tricks and stuff, because like a lot of the way I move through this games is just like a little bit of stuff that I crib from people that I watch, but mostly just like stuff that I've seen and that I'm comfortable with, but aren't really like the speedrunner strats. So I'm always like hesitant to try to tell people how to go through rooms the way I would, because I'm not sure that the way I do is correct. So mostly it's just kind of talking about the things I like, what I'm thinking and what I would do, or give some options on what I think are some reasonable choices and let you decide. Which may or not be helpful. Hopefully it is.
At least from my side, I kind of have the same issue with like what Baha like has, with like, I'm not so sure why people ask me to mentor, because most of the time this game makes my brain go into a very confused mood. Like, this rando can be very tricky to route, especially in the late game when you have no hints to your availability. The seed is a perfect example of that, actually. Like, no hint for Spider, and you kind of just have to lucky guess like between two regions, and that's mostly the 50-50s that I usually lose. But especially with like with the two mentees that I currently have, I'm just happy that they decided to like stick to it, or stick to me, because it just makes planning easier, because I can just tell them, okay, these are the days I'm unavailable on, And we can also just practice easier since there's no language barrier between us three, meaning I can just get both of them in one sitting and we can just go through a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's just fun as always. I just love racing. I love the adrenaline kick. And even when just mentoring, that adrenaline kick is definitely coming in handy. But I guess like the times me and Ralen today said we could have played Prime. Like the amount of how often we said that is actually like hilarious.
Alrighty, we're going to start wrapping up our program. We've got a, it's likely we might have a race coming right behind us for a different community. So with that being said, does anyone have any final comments they'd like to get out?
Thank you for commentating. As I said earlier, really excited to see you, to watch us back, and maybe learn a thing or two from helpful input that might come out of you or the chat. Yeah.
I'm not sure what what you said, but I think you just said random noise.
No, I just said Peter Pan.
Oh yeah, there you
That's
go.
all that I have to say about the seat.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah,
just
that's
like
accurate.
Where the hell are translators? Ah. Ew.
For real.
But yeah,
What do they
otherwise,
even feed there?
Oh jeez.
They feed the language of dream.
All right, and with that being said, we're going to wrap up our little show tonight. So, first and foremost, Rico, Ralen, great job on the race today. Wish you the best of luck in the future races to come, and we're looking forward to seeing y'all in the final week and how far you've improved over this tournament. Baha Jay, thank you for your mentorship for both these runners and all the runners of the tournament. Keep up the great work. It'll be a pleasure to see what the final week has to hold. And with that being said, thank you everyone for joining us here at SpeedGaming for the continuation of our Echoes tournament. We greatly appreciate your support over the years, and we look forward to hosting more events in the future as time allows. If you'd like to follow any of the runners or the mentors that you've seen here today, their information has been posted below. Or if you're interested in learning more about Metroid Prime, Randovania, or the Metroid communities in general, our link's been posted as well, followed by the bracket. On that note, we have no races going on tonight. This will be the last race of the week, and we have nothing on the schedule currently. So as we have information, we'll be sure to get it out to you as soon as possible. But until then, coming up next, either here on SpeedGaming 1 or one of the SpeedGaming channels at 5:30, be sure to stick around for a Link to the Past Randomizer open weekly race. That's sure to be a fun one with how large a Link to the Past is. Oh, it's always a fun time. But with that being said, once again, thank you for joining us here. Remember to stay hydrated, have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next mission.
See you next mission.